find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor did
California Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren just confronted Attorney General Pam Bondi with actual emails from the Epstein files showing Jeffrey Epstein trafficking women to other men, including one email where Epstein literally wrote, "I don't like records of these conversations." She asked a simple yes or no question. Is this credible evidence worth investigating? Bondi refused to answer. Instead, she filibustered, then attacked the Congresswoman personally. This is what a cover-up looks like in real time. So let's watch this heated hearing, and I'll give you my take later in the video. Hit that subscribe button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers.
Young lady from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would note that Mr. Nadler's question has not yet been answered. But I want to start by asking that out of respect for the American public and the Epstein survivors, some of whom, of course, are here today, that we can have a transparent conversation and get the public the answers they deserve. I want to briefly direct your attention to two documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second email, Epstein writes to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him, adding, "I don't like records of these conversations." So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is either a yes or no answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar, there were 3 million pages, of course, with that email, but of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million. The redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. I believe you view them. If not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
But could I finish, please? I'm not being rude, please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibuster.
You didn't give a yes or no answer, so let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. And glancing at the documents, that proves that's not the case. In July, your department issued a memo stating that it had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and all our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers. So it would take many months to actually have the time. I only had a few hours. I think the transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really possible.
Whoa. Did you have to wait to get a computer?
It is not possible to really go in. I did, however, see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were blocked out. Now, the Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of this House voted for and the president signed, requires the department to release everything except that it needs to be redacted to protect the victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony we have received. I am concerned that this act has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even though he is mentioned thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways. I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases raises a lot of doubt about the department. State and local police in Minnesota got a court order to get access to the crime scene to be sure evidence would be properly preserved by federal agents. But they took the agents defied the court order, and in a departure from general policy, the DOJ is not collaborating with state and local law enforcement on these homicides. So I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really does nothing to bring credit to your department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order, please.
She
Regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
Yet now, all of a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after
Committee will be in
point of
order.
There was no
Committee will be in
question asked
order.
of the Attorney General. She doesn't just get to speak.
Committee will be in order.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady can state her point of order.
When a witness attacks,
Not a valid point of order. You got to state.
She hasn't completed her point of order yet.
Gotta
Please let her
cite-
speak, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some regular order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And she
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
And what rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and
First
instead
time
is attacking
that is not even close
members
to a
of the
point of
committee.
order. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
What just happened in this hearing is a perfect example of how the Trump administration handles accountability. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren from California came prepared with specific documents, asked straightforward yes or no questions, and watched as Attorney General Pam Bondi did everything possible to avoid giving straight answers. Zoe Lofgren started by directing attention to actual emails from the Epstein files that had been released. The first email shows someone asking Jeffrey Epstein whether a woman identified only as M was a pro or civilian. Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. The second email shows Epstein writing to Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was freaked out by the age difference and that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. Then Epstein adds this critical instruction: "Call me. I don't like records of these conversations. These aren't interpretations. These are direct quotes from emails in the official files." So Zoe Lofgren asked Bondi a straightforward question that should have gotten a straightforward answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence, warranting further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Yes or no? Bondi refused to give a yes or no answer. Instead, she launched into a filibuster about how there were 3 million pages of documents and she wasn't familiar with that specific email, but of course they would look into anything. The Congresswoman pointed out that she only had 5 minutes and Bondi had just used up 30 seconds avoiding a simple question. Then came the contradiction that matters. FBI Director Kash Patel had testified in that same committee room that there was no credible information indicating Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. But just glancing at these documents proves that's not the case. The emails explicitly discuss providing women to other people, express concern about age differences, and show efforts to keep conversations off the record specifically about these arrangements. In July, the Justice Department issued a memo stating they had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. Case closed, according to them. But Congress Zoe Lofgren went to the Department of Justice herself to review the unredacted materials, and what she found contradicts that conclusion. Here's where the transparency argument completely falls apart. There are 35 House members who have access to review these documents. The Justice Department provided 4 computers for 35 members of Congress. At that rate, it would take months for everyone to actually have meaningful time to review the materials. The Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren had only a few hours. This isn't transparency. This is the appearance of transparency designed to prevent actual oversight. But even in those few hours, she found critical documents. A U.S. Attorney information memo from the Southern District of New York indicating there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were completely blocked out in the released versions. The Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of the House voted for and which the president signed into law, requires the department to release everything except what needs to be redacted to protect victims or ongoing prosecutions. According to testimony, there are no ongoing prosecutions. So why are so many names still redacted? Director Kash Patel admitted during his testimony that up to 1,000 FBI agents went through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. 1,000 agents working to scrub Trump's name from documents where he appears thousands of times. That's not protecting victims. That's protecting the president. When given a chance to respond to these serious allegations about cover-ups, redactions, defied court orders, and dead Americans, she attacked the Congresswoman personally. She called Trump the greatest president in American history, accused the Congresswoman of taking money from Reid Hoffman, and claimed she posted nothing on Twitter during the Biden years, but is now going after Trump. None of that addressed a single question. Meanwhile, the Epstein files remain heavily redacted, co-conspirators remain protected, and federal agents who kill American citizens face no collaboration from the Justice Department that's supposed to enforce the law. That tells you everything you need to know about priorities at the Justice Department right now. You're watching Inside Politics. Hit subscribe and help us reach 100,000 subscribers and comment your thoughts.